So we're here with Tim and Andy. They're in a band called Beyond Grace.
Right.
But Tim actually has quite an interesting day job.
Yeah, so I work for an organisation called London Institute of Contemporary Christianity, LICC, and my job is all about helping young professionals, particularly Christian young professionals, integrate their sense of who they are, their faith, and the work that they do day to day.
So there's a lot of satanic imagery and shit going down at this festival, and you guys are Christians, so where does that fit?
Well, I'm a Christian. Andy wouldn't identify as such.
God,
Are
no.
you a non-Christian?
Lapsed Catholic, like raised Catholic, and then not at all.
So it's a
Right.
Christian and
So
a
I have all the guilt,
Yeah.
but not the faith.
Right.
Yeah,
The
it's
best
a
way
bit
to
like
go.
being gay then.
Yeah.
Very much so.
And you're bisexual.
Yes, so that really works well. I definitely don't have tons of issues that I need to work out through the band.
I hope you do, because otherwise you might not have any material.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons why we like metal. It's like any form of artistic expression, you can put yourself out there, and it's a vehicle for what you want to say to the world. And some people want to say some things about Satan, and some people just want to have a good time.
And
So that's probably us.
is it all real, all this stuff about Satan and blood and...
Well, for me, I think a
Hell.
large part of it is kind of musical theatre, but I wouldn't deny that there are some subsections of the culture that, like I say, are vehicles for the expression of certain belief systems that probably not just me, but all of us would find a bit intimidating.
Well, in
Would
the
you
same
agree?
way that, really academic now, Satanism is not a singular thing. There are those who think believe that there is a literal horned devil and believe in some sort of evil, which is a bit. And then there's the Satanic Church in America, whose main thing is to troll religious liberty, really. And that's and there's an aspect of it. I think is humanism, the idea that it's all just metaphorical rebellion. And then there's the heavy metal Satan, which is literally just a branding.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a fun branding, but it's just.
Because as a gay person, like I grew up thinking I'm going to hell, and now I feel like I'm literally in hell
At this festival.
at this festival, and I'm surrounded.
Is it as
by
bad as
hell.
you thought it might be?
Yes,
Oh wow! I mean, it could be a lot worse.
but
I've been to
I'm
worse.
still having fun though.
Okay.
But it's funny to me that you can be that religious and surround yourself in hell
Yeah.
and be cool with that.
Yeah, well, I don't see it as hell. I just see it as a kind of culture within its own, with its own ecosystem, really. And within that culture, you have all kinds of expressions of all kinds of belief systems and sexualities and genders and musical styles. Metal's this whole world, really. It's just a world that not a lot of people know about until you come and discover it for yourself like this.
Lyrically, I have often shied away from the traditional, I'm not going to swear because I don't know where that's going to go out, but the anti-Jesus sentiment, purely because I think it's been done, and B, because through knowing Tim, I have seen the benefits the religion gives me. It's not black and white, and I think metal, like anything else, does tend to treat things as black and white, which is religion good, not religion bad. It's like religion has done has been humanity's excuse for many terrible things, and yet. God, I think I'm going to go Family Guy of all things here. When they talk about removing religion, losing all the religious art that's informed people's lives and has inspired people. It's all expressions of humanity. That's why I find the Satanism interesting, because it's more a question of what are you trying to say with this, rather than are you actually pledging your life to the goat lord below, or do you just think it's a fun way to show a little bit of rebellion, a little bit of anti-establishment?
How do you feel when you hear a band like Cradle of Filth, or you hear a death metal song and it's a banger, but then you listen to the lyrics or you discover the lyrics are anti-Christian or satanic?
Yeah.
What do you then do? Do you listen to it, or do you
Well,
write it off?
I think that I hope I'm as discerning in what I listen to with my metal as what I listen to on the radio, because there's as much kind of values packed and assumptions laden in the top 40 as there is in any metal that I would choose to listen to. So as someone who is enjoying art and that other people are producing, I'm always trying to think what's being sold to me here, either in an explicit or sometimes in an implicit way, like in the top 40. But something I really like about metal is it's a culture, it's a genre that I think values truth-telling, and will call evil evil, will call darkness dark, will sing about shocking subject matter, but to be shocking.
Yeah.
And that's good, and I find that a lot easier to respond to than stuff that's kind of subtly packaged and we might absorb without even thinking about it.
I guess what I'm also getting at, and tell me if this is like too much, but say all your mates want to go and see Cradle of Filth, will you not do it?
Personally, I'd be happy to go and see Cradle of Filth.
Right.
Personally, I'd be pretty happy to go and see anything.
Right.
I think from a personal sort of faith standpoint, my conscience is pretty clear. I think I'm free to enjoy life, and I know that there's nothing, like we were talking about earlier, there's nothing kind of in it other than a strong sense of provocative musical theatre, you might say. So,
What about
qualms
the
from
T-shirt
me.
that says Jesus is a C word?
Yeah. I think again, it's just like it's like you were saying earlier. It's like the teenagers sticking their fingers up to their parents. It's just like being rebellious for the sake of being rebellious, and I can smile at it. I mean, I don't think Jesus is offended by that. I think
Well,
he's
that's
probably
interesting.
glad people are talking about it.
That's interesting, isn't
All
it?
publicity is good publicity.
Yeah,
Do you
I
think
think. Yeah, that's interesting.
You don't think Jesus cares if people call him a cunt? Let's just like put that out there. Is that what you're saying?
See, I don't believe in him, but I believe that the historical figure he's based on, if he's as good as the stories, would have been like, ha!
He's had worse.
And would have. I mean,
Yeah.
the man, myth, the legend, was nailed to a large piece of wood and murdered. I feel like someone put a T-shirt with a bad word in it, it'd be like, I've had worse.
I think that's interesting because I think, say, let's work on the assumption that Jesus is real, right? I don't think he's offended by all of this stuff. That I don't think he cares if people say, "Oh my God."
Right,
Sorry
I think
if
he's
that's-
probably far more offended by child exploitation and modern day slavery than he is
Yeah,
about
well,
someone wearing a Jesus is a C-U-N-T t-shirt.
One of the bands we've toured a couple of times, the Monolith Death Cult, which is a fun name, from the Netherlands, they get in a lot of trouble for writing quite provocative stuff. But their main lyricist is a history teacher and does a lot of research into a lot of the untold stories of World War II.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating, but they acknowledge that they're telling these interesting stories about the hypocrisy of the church during World War II, because obviously the Vatican made some very interesting deals about the interesting ways the Nazis worked with certain groups to attack others, and then turned around and then decimated them in return.
Yeah.
Obviously, turning people against one another, and they get in a lot of trouble for that, for this idea that they're endorsing it. And they've said to me, well, it's not at all like that. It's we understand how absurd it is. We're here yelling in vocals most people would find at least a bit off-putting about quite serious subjects, and they balance that absurdity with like, what other genre would you be able to tell these stories in? It's really how it comes down to, and they think it's important, and it's something they find intriguing and important to them to talk about. If there is a backlash, from that sort of thing, it's to be expected because art is subjective. People get it the wrong way. As Tim said, it all represents what you're trying to say, not necessarily what people are going to get out of it. You can't control that.
You could write a little blog, couldn't you?
Yeah. They do, and a lot of bands I think have taken to doing explanatory liner notes or little things further reading materials to help like contextualize what they're saying, because it is very easy to misinterpret.
When you guys sing in your band, do you do the sort of satanic exorcism type voice as well?
The exorcism type
Do
voice.
you have the like?
You mean Cookie Monster vocals?
From the gut.
Right.
Yeah, do you want me to teach you how to do it?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, okay, so
Look,
imagine...
you teach me how to do it, because I've been doing it for years and
Yeah.
I've got it right.
Yeah, you just kept doing it until it stopped hurting.
Basically.
Yeah, okay. Whereas, I just watch some YouTube videos. So imagine you've come in for a
Okay.
long, hard day filming
Yeah.
at Bloodstock. You're really tired out.
I'm very much there.
You take your bag off and you just throw it down in the corner of the
Right.
room and you go, that's it.
Yeah,
And get
that's-
it more towards the front of the mouth. That's it. He's got it. That's
Right.
it. That's
And
literally
then
all
what
it
do you
is.
say?
The only advice I would say, well, you can say anything. All on is quite political, because after the last couple of years we've had, how could you not be? It's got to come from here, not from here. You'll hurt yourself if you try and sing from here.
Yeah,
Come
that's
from
it.
the
That's
diaphragm.
it. Power from here.
Surprising
and
amount of
tone
technique
from
involved.
So
here.
if you give me a lyric then,
Jesus is real.
you actually sing that.
No, we
He
don't
does
do
not.
that.
I write the lyrics. I do not.
He
let
does
him
the
sing
lyrics. I'm not allowed.
Give me a lyric.
that. What's the first song on the album?
These are desperate
These
times.
are desperate times.
You got it. You were doing it as well. You had it. There you go.
I'm
You
just
gotta commit. You
I'm just
can't.
gonna
There,
put my
you
bag
go.
up.
If you'd have committed there,
He's
he's
right
got to
though.
throw the bag down as you do
You're
it.
right.
Yeah,
The
you were there.
hardest thing when you start doing it is to get over the embarrassment.
That's
'Cause
it.
It is an
So
absurd,
true.
strange way to do
So
it.
true.
And
Yeah,
you only
yeah,
usually make those sounds when you have hurt yourself or when you're actually in pain.
Yeah.
Trying to summon them up voluntarily, dry when you've not had a drink to lose yourself up, or you haven't warmed up. Yeah, it's not easy at all.
Nah.
When you got to get in the mindset to really deliver it, it's even for people
Yeah.
who've done it for years. They warm up.
I just don't think
Because
it,
of
I just
that.
don't think it's in me, guys.
You got it. I heard it. It's there. It's
Eventually.
right there.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh,
You've got to
You're on a
exercise that
slippery slope
beast.
now.
Come
You're
on.
starting down the dark
Yeah.
path.
What James doesn't realise is I've actually lined up some more practice for him later on, but we'll get to that later. Guys, thanks so much for chatting to us. Tim and Andy from Beyond Grace. We'll see you at Bloodstock next year, maybe.
Pleasure. Yeah. See you then. Looking forward
Fingers
to
crossed.
it. Cheers.
See you in hell, guys.